Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our donor retention webinar. My name is Daniela Bears, and I'm a marketing manager here at GiveSignup, RunSignup. I will be one of your speakers today, but before we get started, I'm going to go through a few housekeeping items, and then I will introduce our other speaker, and we'll jump right in. So real quick for today's webinar, you do have the ability to minimize or maximize your control panel using the arrow button in the upper left corner. If you have any questions, please submit them using the control pane on the control panel. If your question for any reason does not get answered during the webinar, somebody will follow up with you, so no stress. And then once we wrap up the webinar, within 24 to 48 hours, we will go ahead and send a copy of the slides and then also an on-demand webinar via email. So stay tuned for that. All right, and so real quick, for the Nonprofit Circle Facebook group, if you have not already joined the group, I want to invite you to join. There's a QR code that you're going to see here on the screen. If you open up the camera on your phone and you just hover over, a link is going to pop up, and you can just hit that to follow and join. If not, again, when we send out these slides, you can do it then. But basically, this nonprofit group was created by us. And it was intended to open up the conversation about event fundraising. It's meant to be a place where everybody can kind of come together, share some tips and tricks. You know, we want you to be able to connect with your peers, with other fundraising experts. So, you know, just a resourceful platform where we can all communicate. So I encourage you to join if you have not. All right, and then for today's speakers, again, I'm Daniela, and we also have new here on the webinar. She is our content manager, and she's waving hello. All right, and to go through our agenda real quick, so we'll just give you a quick intro and welcome you to GiveSignup, RunSignup, remind you of who we are if you don't know already. And then we'll dive into Retention 101 and give you all some great info there. And then we'll move over to the importance of communicating your story. And then we're going to move on to another section called Going Beyond the Ask. And then once we reviewed all this information with you, we want to make sure that we can help you guys create your own action plan and give you some takeaways. And we'll leave some time for some Q&A. All right, so real quick, who we are. We were founded in 2010 with the purpose to create purpose-built technology specifically for endurance events. At this point now, we have helped more than 10,000 nonprofits raise more than 1.3 billion. And this is a number that, you know, we're continuing to try and just really grow with you guys. Our 10-year plan is how can we help more for all of you. You know, our goal is to just really grow the number of ways your nonprofit activates and connects with supporters. And, you know, we're doing this with free and purpose-built technology specifically for nonprofits. All right, so I will pass on donor retention to New.
All right, hi everyone, and thanks Daniela for kicking us off here. If you guys have been in the nonprofit space for a while, you probably have an idea of what donor retention is, but for those who haven't, we wanted to take this time to really open up the conversation and talk about what it is and why it's important for nonprofits. So just as a simple definition, donor retention is a measure of how many nonprofits continue to come back and donate to your organization. It's important for nonprofits to focus on this because, of course, it takes a lot to acquire a donor and get them to be loyal to your organization. So putting your efforts and focus on retaining them year after year is really going to make it easier for nonprofits. But again, it's not as simple as that, right? When donors become a lifelong supporter, they become these super advocates for your mission, and they do more than just donate one time. They spread the word about your nonprofit to their friends, their families, and perhaps their colleagues. If you're lucky enough, you get them to become peer-to-peer fundraisers in which they fundraise and raise money on your organization's behalf. If you host fundraising events, they will volunteer because they really support your organization and they love what you do and they want to be a part of of building up your organization and raising more money. And of course, encouraging their friends and family to take on a bigger role as well. So going past the just donating, but fundraising and volunteering and just, sharing the word about the good work that you do. So why is it important? I touched on this already, but these two key facts here: organizations with higher donor retention rates have long-term supporters who they can continuously count on. So these people are very loyal to organization. As a nonprofit, you're competing with many organizations with similar missions. So you really gotta stand out from the crowd and put your best foot forward and making that donor experience and supporter experience a great one. And then organizations with lower donor retention rates, they are continually acquiring new donors year after year. And as we know, acquiring a donor takes not just a lot of time, but it also costs much more than just retaining a donor. And like I said, it's not as simple as that. Just like any healthy relationship between friends, between family members, you want a strong bond with your supporters, and you're going to need to put in the work to do so. So we want to highlight just a couple of important stats about retention and recurring donors. The first one, recurring donors. If you're not sure what this is, these are your supporters, your donors who are giving on an ongoing basis. And these people are worth 4 times more than a one-time donor over their lifetime. Because while a one-time donor can give a big gift just once, a recurring donor, especially if they're giving monthly, quarterly, they are continuing to build that kind of dollar value over time. And this can go up to 11 times for smaller nonprofits. The second stat, recurring donors give 42% more than one-time donors, and 50% of donors are enrolled in a recurring giving program. And the last one is new donor retention is up 13.6% in 2021, which is incredible. And then repeat donor retention is up 2.5%. All right, so I wanted to take a few minutes to go over what causes donors to lapse, what causes your supporters to lapse. And this can be a number of factors, but the biggest ones that we found are that it's a lack of communication. Donors are never thanked or acknowledged for the gift, and which can feel pretty transactional. You're not giving any information about how funds are being used. And with the competition in the nonprofit marketplace right now, other organizations are perhaps communicating and cultivating donors a little bit better. Or if you're not communicating with them, they forget about your organization, that they even donated, and they just move on to the next one. Ignoring donors and your supporters are the main reason why they stop supporting your organization. So to ensure you're retaining your donors and setting your organization up for the long term, consider making sure you're interacting with them regularly, not just every time they give a gift, but check in on them like every few weeks, like once a month. Make it routine so you're constantly showing up in their inbox, on their call log, so they know that you're thinking about them. Remember to continuously acknowledge and thank you every time they support your organization, whether it's just financially, or it's from fundraising themselves, or volunteering at an event, or even sharing the word. You want to make sure they feel like their opinions are important. So if they reach out about, they give you some feedback, acknowledge it and make sure that they're heard. They want to know how your funds are being used. And this is where impact reports and metrics and reporting on them on at least a quarterly basis is really important. Because these days, donors don't just want to donate to any good cause, right? They want to know how they're making the impact and how you're using those funds and how they're actually helping the people or animals or environment that you serve. They believe that the organization is carrying out its mission effectively, and they also feel a sense of community and belonging. I think that's one of the things that's really important for nonprofits in this modern age. Like, they just don't want to donate and then be done with it. They want to feel good about what they're doing, and they want to feel like they're a part of a movement with your organization. Relationship building is an important part of supporter and donor retention. So to obtain loyalty among your supporters, you really need to put in the effort to strengthening your bond with them. And that takes continuous and purposeful effort.
All right. So the importance of telling your story. This is going to harp on a lot of the things that you just went through. So we'll dig a little deeper. Keep your supporters in the know. This is such an important, piece and key of it all. Um, like New said, you don't just want to connect with them after, they've donated. Obviously, you want to say your thank yous, but you want to let them know about the progress towards your mission. Showing them how their contribution made an impact, whether it was, do a donation or fundraising, they still want to know. And just kind of coming full circle, it makes a difference. Then there's lots of different ways that you can do this, right? So you can consider sending follow-up emails to share information. Like New said, consider including impact reports that show those key metrics. So it's not just like, hey, thanks for your donation. This is what it did. Show them the facts, show them the numbers, show them the real, life testimonies that they're helping with. And I think something that we're always so excited to be able to brag about our customers is that they're really successful because they are leveraging all of our free tools that they have at their fingertips right now, to just really be able to reach out to their donors and supporters. Using these free platforms to be able to, build advocates for their organizations makes a difference. So I want to give you a few different examples of what you could be doing. If you could go right back up to the last slide. So sometimes people are like, okay, well, emails can be bombarding and it can get boring. Well, what else can you do with an email tool or an email itself, right? You could also consider maybe doing a newsletter cadence, whether it's like monthly or whether it's like quarterly. Give them a roundup of what's coming up. If you think you don't have enough information for a monthly or quarterly newsletter, your email can be creative, right? You can say, okay, well, here's what we're looking into the next year, the next few months. Here's some upcoming events, right? So use these tools in creative ways, not just for, hey, thank you for your donation. All right, and then to kind of dig into that a little more, updating your supporters more than once. Again, sharing post-campaign results is important, but that's not where we want to stop. Decide on a cadence of how you're going to share the stories of the people, places, or animals that they're helping serve. Even if, this was like a one-time donor and they haven't donated again, keep that communication flowing, keep it going, continue to give them updates. You never know when, something is going to kind of touch personally in a way or whatever the case is, and they're going to donate again. It's important to build these relationships over like a long period of time and just invest in that time and not just take them out because they've only donated once. Just really letting them know, hey, I still want to connect with you, and not just when I'm ready to ask you for something. So just really making them feel included throughout your whole mission, and throughout the whole, if you're looking at it like year by year, throughout the whole year, right? So just because they donated, let's say this past year end, start ramping that up this year, start cultivating them for this new year. All right, so getting creative with what you share. Photo albums of maybe events or missions that you have gone on, that their money has been put towards, video clips of this, testimony stories, any kind of quotes or anything that you can share with them. This is all good visual, live stuff that, it's tangible to them that they can relate to and really, put two and two together to see, how the progress of stuff is going. All right, and so here's an example of an email that I wanted to share with you guys. So the title of this, bring us home to our 2021 goal. And then, you have the subheader there that says like special updates, your donations will be matched. So this potentially was, somebody that sent in a donation, and then, as stuff progressed, their donation is going to be matched, you can come back and just be excited to share that with them. You're not necessarily asking them, hey, donate again. You can always keep in that call to action at the very bottom to say donate today, because it doesn't hurt to have that. But you're just kind of giving them an update of like, hey, look at how great you donated this, and now look at where we are. Your donation is being matched. So this is just a great example of what you can be doing to reach out to them. Another great way to feature progress. So the donation thermometer goal here, you can feature this on your website. You know, you can maybe share an email or something with a link that takes them to your website. If you don't necessarily want to put all this information in one whole big email, you can just maybe say, hey, you know, connecting with you, just wanted to check in, look at, you know, some of the progress we've done. Send them to your website, show them all the cool things that you have going on. And this is actually a really cool feature that our custom websites does allow you to do. All right, and then this is an example of another website here. And you can just see again, you know, you have your branded, your own custom stuff on here. At the very top, we have multiple pages and subpages and like subtitles there. Whether you want to share, you know, about upcoming events, how they can volunteer, whatever the case is, you can always lead them to your website. You know, you have your option to add your call to action button there in the very center. Information for them to learn more, how they can get in contact with you. So just because you put very little information in an email or however it is that you're communicating with them, send them to your main website. Show them all the different places that they can connect with you.
All right, so in this next section, we're going to talk about going beyond the ask and, you know, engaging your supporters in various different ways. And we've touched on this already through the course of our webinar, and I want to share with you how to diversify the way you communicate with your supporters. All right, so engage your donors beyond the ask. The last thing you want is your donors to feel as if you have a very transactional relationship with them. They don't want to hear from you. The only time they hear from you is when you're asking for money, and that's just not good for relationship building and donor retention. So consider ways to engage with your donors in non-transactional ways by not asking for money. Get creative and think about how else they can support your organization rather than just donating, right? I think there's so many other ways that we've mentioned that will actually do more and bring, like, in the long term, grow your fundraising revenue over time than just them donating to your organization. And while this takes a little bit more effort and a little more time, and you might not get money and make money immediately, you're nurturing that relationship, and you know, you're not just forgetting about them, and you make sure they feel appreciated and wanted within your community. So what are some non-transactional forms of support? And I'm sure many of you do it already, but, you know, a simple thing as asking them to share your fundraising event, your campaign, or even just your overall mission on their social media platforms. In today's heavily driven social media world, it's very easy to gain traction by people just sharing what you do and why it's important to them. And alongside that, if someone feels really strongly about your mission, maybe you are raising awareness about breast cancer and you have supporters who are either kind of experiencing that themselves or are impacted because a loved one has been diagnosed. Just having them feel strongly about your mission and what you do, but also like making sure you're giving them a unique experience that compared to everyone else in the space, that's going to get them to really connect with your organization and want to do more to support and share your mission with their friends and family, and even get them to, you know, become fundraisers. Another thing you can do if you are hosting fundraising events, you know, encourage them to be volunteers. You know, I'm sure as a nonprofit, your resources are tight, and your you don't have the staff all the time on hand to manage all the activities that needs to be done on event day. So getting them to volunteer and become volunteers, it's just a great way to nurture that relationship, but also like become more effective at the event itself. And last of all, and then the best of all, one of the main things we are harping on recently is just, encouraging people to become peer-to-peer fundraisers. It's so easy to set up a campaign, whether on GiveSignup, RunSignup, or on Facebook fundraising. It takes a few minutes, and just the potential and how much you can raise is limitless. And I want to show you an example right here. Let me go here first. So if you can see here, this is one of our donation forms. And you can see they have, like Daniela mentioned, the donation goal thermometer at the top, which they have exceeded, which is so awesome to see. You also have the ability to write a description of, your mission and why you're raising money. But at the bottom, you have the opportunity to have your supporters create fundraising campaigns, and it's just an easy way to bring, like, completely exceed your fundraising goals and maybe like double it, triple it, quadruple it. As you can see here, these two fundraisers have set fundraising goals, and the first one exceeded by 4 or 5 times. So it's just like an easy way it's an easy way to raise more money, and it's so simple to include in your donation form, which is on GiveSignup. RunSignup is completely free. The second example I want to show here, so this is a New Year's food drive that was hosted obviously a few weeks ago. And on our website, you can even display all the participants. Because I know with this one, they also had a food drive and 5K for people to engage in. And this is just a unique experience to give your supporters. So they're, participating in an activity that they love doing, but also, raising awareness for your mission and, providing food for those who need it the most.
All right, so creating your action plan here. Now that we've kind of gone through all these tidbits, and again, this is all information that is probably not new to anybody, but when you actually see it on pen and paper, if you will, obviously this is not pen and paper, but you guys know what I mean. It just kind of all puts everything together, helps remind, to not just take these donors as like a one-time thing. They're like a real person, and you want to cultivate that relationship with them. So we're going to take everything here and dive into it. So to recap, we want to make sure that you're telling your nonprofit story and thoroughly explaining to them why you're worthy of their support. This is huge. Again, it goes back to showing them, like, where their donations are going, what you're doing with it, how it's actually making an impact. They want to hear this stuff and see it. Diversify ways to support your organization. So obviously, we have donations listed here because it's the main goal, right? But that's not the only way that this can happen. They can do it by sharing, they can do it by fundraising, volunteering. So think of creative ways that are not just transactional, where you can really ask for support from them. So again, offer peer-to-peer fundraising events. Make this fun so you can gamify the fundraising experience. Make it social, like New said earlier. We're living in a world where communicating through social media is the thing. So whether it's they're fundraising through Facebook, or they're doing team fundraisings, or they're doing individually, encourage them to share it across all their platforms and engage their followers or friends and family. You can also, help incentivize them with fundraising rewards, milestones, and badges. Whether you have like a point system going on, whether you're going to come up with some special prizes or something, whatever it is, share those incentives in the very beginning, and just kind of get them going. Like, give them something to work other than obviously the main cause, right? But making it fun makes also a big difference. It's important to include a reoccurring giving option from the very beginning. You will be surprised at how many people, whether they're like first-time donors or one-time donors, that having that option, on your website, on your forms, makes a difference. You're letting them know, hey, you can also, if you don't want to keep coming back, you're not the type of person that's going to come volunteer or going to attend events, but you want to keep connecting with us in a financial way, they can do a reoccurring donation option. So always important to have that there. Centralizing everything in an all-inclusive website. So again, this is so important to be able to have all these things on one place where, whether you're sending them an email or however you're communicating with them, you point them to one place and they have access to everything. A website that shows them upcoming events, a website that's going to give them a place where they can donate, a place where they can, see any kind of updates of new photos that you're adding, of something that has just passed, or if you want to add reports and things on that website, just having a dedicated place where they can just come and find everything they need is super important. And then lastly, communicating well, often, and consistently. Do not leave, no donor gets left behind, right? So just because they've only kind of interacted with you one time, keep coming to them. You never know when you're going to hit them with something personal that really resonates with them. So never stop communicating, whether it's, again, consider doing newsletters, giving them the option of, whether it's just to join this campaign or join the cause by sharing, whatever it is, just keep the communication going. It really does make a difference. And so with that, we'll wrap up, and I think we have time here for oh no, I'm sorry, I'm kidding, one more slide.
One more slide. We would be remiss if we didn't kind of connect all the free, awesome, purpose-built tools for nonprofits from GiveSignup, RunSignup. And I know we've talked a little bit about these throughout the entire presentation today, but we just wanted to highlight, first, our unlimited email marketing. I think this is such an important tool for nonprofits because, these tools can be extremely expensive. And the best part is all of our products are free for nonprofits. And our email marketing is one of our newer products, and it's continually being updated. We have so much in the pipeline this year that you are going to go crazy. So with it, you have access to sending unlimited emails to unlimited contacts, and you can upload any kind of historical information about your supporters and really customize that on our platform. And of course, to make it even more personal and to build that retention and continue to build that relationship with your supporters, we also have the capability for you to add custom insertable placeholders for your contacts. And you can customize the interior however you want, in whichever way you want. The beauty of it is that our email marketing tool has a lot of customization options, and it's so easy to use. You can really create an email in minutes with our already templated email. And then also with the email is that you get a lot of reports with it. So you can see the open rates, how people have looked at your email, if they're clicking any buttons. So very cool stuff with our email marketing that is continuing to evolve. Perhaps one of the main things that we really like to harp on is our custom websites. Last year, we released a website builder, which is basically a drag and drop tool that lets you build and customize your website however you want with building blocks, and you can feature any kind of a variety of content pieces like videos and pictures and of course text. We can have donation thermometers. And now with our websites, you are able to have a menu header, drop-down menus, unlimited pages, sub-pages, and the list goes on. And just really gives you a really good opportunity to engage your supporters and also share what's most important, your mission. And then we also have our donation forms. You know, with all of our products, you can feature your custom branding. So it's your branding first, not ours. And like Daniela said, we have recurring giving options. You can have donation levels, telling your donors, if you donate $50, this is what it will provide to our constituents, which is just a great way of just having full transparency and with your donors and with your supporters on what they're giving and how it's benefiting your nonprofit. And then within the donation forms, we also have a piece to send e-cards. So if your donor or supporter wants to give a gift to a loved one and donate on their behalf, they have a great way to do it. You can set it up on our platform pretty easily, and there's so many templates to pick from. But also, if you have your own templates that you want to upload, the beauty of it is that you can do that too. So a lot of great stuff. And if you ever want to learn more, you can reach out to me, Daniela, and we can direct you in the right direction. So with that, we're gonna wrap up. I don't know if we have any questions. We can wait a few minutes to see if anything comes in.
Yeah, and I have been trying to answer as they come in. If there's anything here that we have not, I'm trying to filter through on something that would really resonate with the whole group. If it's more technical, we will get back to you so that we can make sure that we give you all the information that you need.
Yeah. And we do have, I know I see a lot of some questions here about setting things up on our platform. We can definitely reach out to you privately if you want to send us an email, because we have so many. If you just search on our blog, there's just a lot of support options there that will probably answer these questions, so you have something to reference moving forward.
Yeah, so I am seeing a lot of technical questions, things like, where do we set up recurring options? So there's a few different places and things, obviously, that we want to make sure that you get all the answers to. So we will make sure that we send that information to you guys individually.
Yeah. All right.
And I had some, just again to reiterate the slides and recap of this actual webinar will be sent out via email to you in 24 to 48 hours. So yes, that is going to come out. All right. So again, I think we've tried to answer a few. I've tried to answer a few of these individually. Anything technical here, we are going to set you guys up with the correct person to answer your questions. So we have not forgotten about you. I can see these coming into the queue. Thank you for your question and for your interest. We are going to get back to you.
All right.
Okay, and with that, we hope you enjoyed, and we will be hopefully touching base soon. Look out for our upcoming and next webinars that you all will be invited to again.
We have an awesome one coming up soon, so stay tuned on our blog and social, and you'll get more announcements. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.